Hi, I'm Bonnie Browning with the American Quilter Society, and today I'm here with Judith Phelps, and Judy is the winner of the Moda Best Wall Quilt Award here at AQS QuiltWeek. Congratulations, Judy.
Thank you. I am just thrilled.
Well, you know, I know that people will want to know about this exquisite quilt, so let's talk a little bit about it. First of all, it's made in blocks with a sashing that you used gradated fabric.
Right.
But what they may not be able to see is that every one of these blocks is solid thread.
Yes.
How'd you do that?
So, basically, it's white fabric on front and it's black fabric on the back with batting in between. And I drew the designs. I designed the designs and then drew them on the fabric with pencil, and sandwiched the fabric and the batting, and I put it in a embroidery hoop, and then I dropped the feed dogs and machine quilt, or freehand machine quilt, or thread paint, whichever you want to call it.
Now, there's an interesting story of how you came to make this quilt. What did this come from?
I belong to a cover-to-cover book club quilters out of we're in the Northwest, and I was asked to join last year for the first time. We're 11 quilters that we pick 2 books a year, and we do a quilt on each of those books. And so there's 11 of these, and not this particular quilt, but I mean everyone does their interpretation of the book. Last year we did Hugo. There's a movie, and the book is called The Invention of Hugo Cabaret. And so this is my interpretation of Hugo. And I'm always thrilled when someone will walk up and say, Hugo. You know, so, but that's basically where the inspiration came from. I do have to say I belong to 2 groups, and originally this quilt was designed as a whole cloth quilt. And I was challenged for 3 in a series, so I decided to break it up, and that's how it became blocks instead of a whole cloth.
Okay, so then you said that you were a little behind because they'd already read the book. How long did you have to finish your quilt?
I had about 2 to 3 months, and so I read the book, and then I was under a time constraint to get it done. But it came, well, actually the quilt, the sashing on it, the quilt has been taken apart 3 times and put back together and trying to get it right.
Oh,
so my husband says I'm overboard on detail.
Well, do you know what? Detail proved to make you a winner this time.
I'll point that out to him.
Yes, that's right. And so I know there are many different colors of black, white, and gray thread in here.
Yes.
How many spools of thread?
I have no idea how many spools, but I have probably about 16 to 20 colors in it. And I did go through several spools, and you go through several more spools when you have to rip out.
Oh, gosh, well, that was fun, wasn't it?
Well, especially with this heavy of thread painting. But you do that when your tension is wrong on the back side, and you take it off the machine and find that out late. So.
Yes. All right, is there anything else that we ought to know about this quilt?
It is a reversible quilt. It's to be viewed from both sides. And so if you looked at the back side, it would be on the black fabric, it looks a little bit different.
Okay. And then what did you do right here, because you have gears on both sides?
Basically, it's black fabric, but what I did is, because I wanted the gears to be kind of inside a person, what I did is I added 2 strips of fabric right here, and
so you could lay it in there.
Yes, and then what I did is I hand sewed it first, and then I added the stitching afterward, the thread painting afterward, to make sure it stayed there. So, but the problem is trying to line these up on both sides so that they come out right.
Do you know what I'm really interested in knowing, because you remarked about ripping out?
Yes.
And so, like, what parts did you have to rip out?
Like sections of gears, or you know, just wherever I would take. I'd be working and then realize that when I took it off the machine to rehoop, I'd realize that the tension had gone out.
So you had bubbles or threads or something.
It just
on the
wasn't
back?
Catching on the back. It'd be just a line.
Oh.
So what I'd have to do is go back.
That showed up real quickly, didn't it?
Oh yes.
Oh, I can see that, because if you just look at all the times you had to go in and out.
Yeah.
On those gears, I could see how that would happen.
Right. And so there were lots of times that I would have to rip out all the way back to a certain area and start over again. But,
wow.
No, and then I was really pleased that I figured out. I did not know that they actually made sleeves. That there was a book or something on how to do a sleeve that you could just go through the quilt. So I kind of designed this on my own. So.
But now there is a detail on here that I found really interesting.
I'm sorry. I do have regular gears, or the steel gears on it.
Yes, and right here,
we
have a drawing of this block, the moon block. And so you can see the same detail right here as you can see on the larger version.
So, what I usually did is I worked from dark to light when I thread painted, and that gave me an idea of where I was going. So, and I tried, like my husband said, I go overboard on detail.
All right, now I just have to ask because I have no idea whether you did or not, but did you use a magnifying lens on your computer?
No, but I'm getting blind, so I use a lot of light, and you know, and whatever I can use to. Yeah, I do wear glasses, you know.
Well, I'm amazed that you didn't, if you didn't use a magnifier, because there is so much fine detail in here.
I appreciate that.
Now, have you ever entered the AQS Quilt Show before?
No, this was the first time. In fact, I was really thrilled when I got into the Paducah show. I never dreamed it would even get into the Paducah show. I had put it in at a first entry level because I had never been here, and I thought, well, gee, you know, this will be the only time if I ever enter any more shows I can do that. And one of the judges came by and she said, well, we took it out of the first entry level immediately and put it in. Wow. So, but I was absolutely thrilled when they said that I'd won Moda Best Wall Quilt. I mean,
it's a beautiful quilt. And so this goes to prove to those of you out there at home that are watching this video that you can't win if you don't enter, and you never know when you will be that winner.
Hey, I've looked at these other quilts. They are absolutely stunning. I mean, I am really, really surprised it won anything.
Yes, well, it's a beautiful quilt and a well-deserved
you.
Honor, and congratulations on being the Moda Best Wall Quilt here in Paducah, Kentucky.
Thank you. So, thanks.